Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're exploring black holes,
Oh, yeah.
but not in the way you might expect.
Okay.
We're diving into some intriguing insights from a regressive hypnosis session with a subject named McKenna.
Interesting.
Now, we know this source might seem a bit unconventional,
Uh-huh.
but that's what we love about these deep dives, exploring diverse perspectives and challenging conventional thinking.
Absolutely. While regressive hypnosis isn't a traditional scientific method, it does offer a unique window into the subconscious mind, which might hold knowledge and perspectives we haven't even considered.
So let's jump right in.
Okay.
One of McKenna's most striking revelations is that black holes aren't just cosmic vacuum cleaners. She sees them as portals to other dimensions.
And these aren't just your typical sci-fi portals leading to parallel universes.
Right.
She describes them as pathways to denser, heavier dimensions.
Okay, that's definitely a new way to think about black holes.
Yeah.
But what exactly does she mean by denser dimensions? Can you unpack that a little?
Think of it this way. Imagine a swimming pool. You can move freely in the water, but if you were to dive deeper, the pressure would increase, making it feel denser. McKenna seems to be describing a similar shift in the fundamental nature of reality in these other dimensions.
So it's not just about physical location,
Right.
but about a shift in the very essence of that reality.
Exactly. And here's where it gets really interesting. McKenna suggests that the nature of a black hole, whether it's benevolent or malevolent, isn't inherent to the black hole itself, but is determined by the intention behind its creation.
So are you saying that someone or something could intentionally create a black hole for a specific purpose?
That's what McKenna seems to be implying.
Wow.
It's a concept that might seem far-fetched, but it opens up some mind-blowing possibilities about the role of consciousness and intention in shaping cosmic events.
Now this is where I have to ask. How does this idea of intention fit in with what we know about black holes from a scientific perspective?
From a purely scientific standpoint, we understand black holes as regions of space-time where gravity is so strong that nothing, not even light, can escape. Their formation is generally attributed to the collapse of massive stars. However, McKenna's insights challenge us to consider the possibility that there might be more to these cosmic phenomena than meets the eye.
So while science explains the how of black hole formation,
Yes.
McKenna's experience hints at why that might be beyond our current scientific understanding.
Exactly. And that brings us to another intriguing aspect of her experience, the hypnotic pull she feels emanating from the black hole. She even experiences this pull during the hypnosis session, suggesting it's not just a figment of her imagination.
So there's some kind of force and energy that draws things towards a black hole, almost like a cosmic magnet.
That's a good way to put it. And she suggests that this force isn't random, it's connected to the intention behind the black hole's creation.
Wow, that's a lot to process.
Yeah.
It's like black holes are more than just physical objects. They're also imbued with a kind of consciousness or purpose.
That's one way to interpret it.
Yeah.
And this idea of intention shaping the nature of a black hole is something we'll need to keep in mind as we explore McKenna's experience further. It might be one of the most significant takeaways from this deep dive.
Okay, let's talk about McKenna's experience inside the black hole.
Right.
She describes it as a void where space and time cease to exist.
Wow.
But instead of fear, she feels a sense of peace and weightlessness.
It's fascinating, isn't it?
Yeah.
It challenges our assumptions about what it would be like to encounter a black hole. We often imagine it as a violent, destructive experience, but McKenna describes it as almost serene.
So is she suggesting that her fear of black holes is misplaced? That they're not the cosmic monsters we think they are?
It's hard to say for sure, but her experience certainly invites us to reconsider our perspective. Perhaps our fear stems from our limited understanding, from projecting our own anxieties onto something we don't fully comprehend.
It's like the saying, we have nothing to fear but fear itself.
Right.
Maybe black holes are just another frontier we need to explore with an open mind.
Exactly. Now, this is where McKenna's insights take a darker turn.
Okay.
She uses the analogy of a hamper or dirty laundry to describe how some nefarious beings utilize black holes. It's as if they're using them to discard unwanted things or transport them across the universe.
Okay, that's a little unsettling. Can you elaborate on that a bit more? What kind of dirty laundry are we talking about here?
She doesn't go into specifics, but it paints a picture of black holes being used for purposes that aren't exactly benevolent. Like they're being used as cosmic dumping grounds or even as a way to transport things that might be harmful or dangerous.
So it's not just about portals to other dimensions.
Right.
It's also about the potential for black holes to be used for less than noble purposes.
That's one interpretation. It's important to remember that we're dealing with subjective experiences here. But McKenna's insights certainly raise some interesting questions about the potential for both positive and negative applications of these cosmic phenomena.
Okay, this is getting pretty intense.
Yeah.
But she also mentions that there are different types of black holes, right?
Yes, she describes variations in density, the strength of the hypnotic pole, and even the rate at which objects travel through them. It's like there's a whole spectrum of black holes, each with its own unique properties and purpose.
And she also mentions that some benevolent extraterrestrial beings are actively working to close black holes created with negative intentions. She even describes a specific instance over Russia where this supposedly occurred.
That's right. It's a fascinating concept. It suggests a cosmic balance of forces with both positive and negative entities vying for influence.
It's almost like a cosmic battle between good and evil playing out on a scale we can barely comprehend.
It's a powerful image, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it highlights the importance of understanding not just the mechanics of black holes, but also the intentions and motivations of the beings who might be manipulating them.
So what does all this tell us about humanity's place in the cosmos? If these powerful beings are utilizing black holes for their own agendas, where do we fit into the equation?
That's a question we'll explore further as we delve deeper into McKenna's insights. But she does offer one very intriguing piece of information. She claims that humans inherently possess the knowledge to understand black holes.
Really?
But it's buried beneath our rational, conscious minds.
It's like we have this cosmic knowledge within us, but we've forgotten how to access it?
Exactly. And that brings us to one of the most captivating aspects of McKenna's experience.
Okay.
Her description of Earth as the heart chakra of the galaxy.
Okay, now you're really blowing my mind. What does she mean by that? And why would negative beings be so intent on controlling Earth if it's just a tiny speck in a vast galaxy?
That's a great question. To understand this, we need to understand the concept of chakras. In many spiritual traditions, chakras are considered energy centers within the body. The heart chakra in particular is associated with love, compassion, and connection.
So if we extend that metaphor to a cosmic scale,
Yeah,
are you saying that Earth might be a kind of energetic center for the entire galaxy?
that's one way to interpret it. McKenna seems to be suggesting that Earth plays a vital role in the energetic balance of the Milky Way, perhaps even acting as a kind of energetic hub or amplifier.
Okay, I can see how that would make Earth a pretty desirable piece of real estate for beings who might want to control or manipulate the flow of cosmic energy.
Precisely. It adds a whole new layer of complexity to our understanding of Earth's place in the cosmos.
This is all so incredibly fascinating, but I'm starting to feel like we're only scratching the surface of McKenna's insights.
You're right. We've barely begun to explore the depths of her experience. There's so much more to uncover, including her attempts to analyze the mysterious hypnotic fibers emanating from the black hole and her observation of a plane entering a black hole.
Ooh, those sound like some juicy details.
Yeah.
I can't wait to dive into those in the next part of our deep dive. For all our listeners, hold on tight. We're just getting started. Welcome back to the deep dive. Last time we were talking about McKenna's experience with black holes during a regressive hypnosis session, and it was pretty mind-blowing.
It was fascinating stuff.
She described black holes as portals to other dimensions.
Right.
And even went as far as to say that Earth is the heart chakra of the galaxy.
Yeah.
Where do we even go from there?
Well, one thing that really stood out to me was her attempt to analyze the composition of those hypnotic fibers emanating from the black hole.
Okay, hold on. Hypnotic fibers?
Yeah.
Remind me about those. What exactly was she describing?
So she perceived these thread-like structures emanating from the black hole's entrance,
Okay.
almost like a fringe or a halo, and she felt they were responsible for the hypnotic pull that draws beings in. Remember how she felt that pull herself during the hypnosis session?
Right? It was like some unseen force was trying to draw her in. And she's saying these fibers are connected to that force.
Exactly. But here's the really interesting part. When she tried to understand what they were made of, she couldn't find anything comparable on Earth.
Wow.
The closest analogy she could come up with was artificial intelligence, which technically doesn't have DNA either.
So she's suggesting these fibers are some kind of advanced technology, possibly even a form of non-biological intelligence.
That's one interpretation. It challenges our assumptions about what constitutes intelligence and where it might exist in the universe. We tend to associate intelligence with biological life, but McKenna's experience suggests that there might be other forms of intelligence out there operating on principles we haven't even begun to understand.
It's like we're peeking into a realm where the lines between technology, consciousness, and cosmic phenomena become completely blurred.
Exactly. And it raises some pretty big questions. If these fibers are indeed a form of AI,
Yeah.
who created them, and what is their purpose? Are they guiding beings towards the black hole, or are they something more sinister, like a trap?
Oh, wow. It's like a cosmic mystery novel with clues scattered across the vast canvas of the universe.
I like that.
Speaking of mysteries, let's talk about the plane analogy.
Okay.
McKenna described observing a plane entering a black hole and didn't perceive any physical harm to the plane or its passengers. But before she could elaborate further, the connection was cut short.
It's like the universe was teasing us with a glimpse of something incredible, but then decided to pull the curtain closed before we could get the full picture.
It's frustrating, but it also makes you want to dig deeper to find out what's really going on.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It sparks our curiosity and challenges us to consider possibilities that might seem outlandish at first. For example, if the plane and its passengers were unharmed, where did they go? Did they pass through the black hole to another dimension? Did they experience some kind of transformation?
Okay, so we're dealing with some pretty mind-bending concepts here. Black holes as portals, hypnotic fibers, planes disappearing into the unknown. It's enough to make your head spin.
It certainly challenges our conventional understanding of the universe, but I think that's the beauty of these deep dives. They push us to expand our thinking, to entertain ideas that might initially seem impossible.
It's like we're taking a mental journey beyond the boundaries of our everyday reality.
Yeah.
I have to ask,
Sure.
how do we reconcile these extraordinary experiences with our understanding of science?
That's a great question. It's important to remember that science is constantly evolving.
Yeah.
What we consider impossible today might be common knowledge tomorrow. And sometimes personal experiences like McKenna's can serve as catalysts for new scientific discoveries.
So you're saying that we shouldn't dismiss these experiences just because they don't fit neatly into our current scientific models?
Exactly. Instead, we can use them as opportunities to question our assumptions and explore new possibilities. After all, some of the greatest scientific breakthroughs have come from challenging the status quo.
Okay, that makes sense. But let's go back to McKenna's experience for a moment.
All right.
We've talked about the hypnotic fibers, the plane analogy, and the concept of black holes as portals.
Right.
But we haven't really delved into the implications of Earth being the heart chakra of the galaxy.
You're right. That's a topic that deserves further exploration. If we take that metaphor seriously, it suggests that Earth might play a much more significant role in the cosmos than we ever imagined.
It's just like we're not just some random planet orbiting a star. We're a vital organ in the body of the galaxy.
Exactly. And if the heart chakra is associated with love, compassion, and connection, it makes you wonder if Earth's role might be to radiate those qualities out into the universe.
That's a beautiful thought.
It is.
But it also raises some questions.
Yeah.
If Earth is so important, why are there these negative beings trying to control it? And what does that mean for humanity?
Those are questions that we'll need to grapple with as we continue our exploration. But McKenna's experience suggests that we're not alone in this cosmic drama.
Right.
There are other beings out there, both benevolent and malevolent, who are invested in the fate of our planet.
It's like we're caught in the middle of a cosmic tug-of-war with the fate of the galaxy hanging in the balance.
Perhaps. But remember, McKenna also emphasized that humans have the inherent knowledge to understand black holes. Maybe that knowledge also holds the key to navigating these cosmic challenges.
So we need to tap into our inner cosmic wisdom to understand what's really going on and how we can play a positive role.
That's a powerful way to put it. And it leads us to another fascinating aspect of McKenna's experience.
Okay.
Her encounter with beings who claim to be closing black holes created with negative intentions.
Wait, she actually met these beings. Tell me everything.
Well, not in a physical sense, but during the hypnosis session, she perceived these beings as energetic presences. They communicated with her telepathically and explained that they were working to counteract the negative influences associated with certain black holes.
So it's like there's a cosmic peacekeeping force out there trying to maintain balance and harmony in the universe.
That's one way to interpret it. And it suggests that we might not be as helpless as we think in the face of these cosmic challenges.
This is all so incredible. It's like we're getting a glimpse behind the curtain of reality into a realm where the possibilities are truly limitless. But I'm also feeling a bit overwhelmed. It's a lot to take in.
I understand. It's a lot to process. But remember, the journey of discovery is often as important as the destination. And even if we don't have all the answers, simply asking the questions can be transformative.
You're right. It's the journey that matters. And I have a feeling this journey is far from over. There's still so much more to explore in McKenna's experience.
Absolutely. We haven't even touched on her insights about time and consciousness or her encounters with other dimensional beings.
Well, for all our listeners, stay tuned for the final part of our deep dive, where we'll continue our exploration of McKenna's extraordinary experience. Welcome back to the deep dive. We've been on quite a journey exploring McKenna's experience with black holes during a regressive hypnosis session.
Yeah, it's been pretty wild.
It's been mind-blowing, to say the least.
Absolutely. From black holes as portals to the concept of Earth as a galactic heart chakra,
Right.
we've covered some truly fascinating territory.
And last time we were talking about these benevolent beings that McKenna perceived, who were supposedly closing black holes created with negative intentions.
Right.
It's such a hopeful concept. And I have to ask, how is that even possible? Can you shed some light on that?
It's definitely a concept that stretches our understanding of physics and cosmology. But if we entertain the possibility that consciousness and intention can influence reality on a cosmic scale, as McKenna suggests, then perhaps these beings are operating at a level of consciousness and energy manipulation that we haven't even begun to grasp.
So it's like they're cosmic healers using their advanced understanding of the universe to counteract negative forces.
That's a beautiful way to put it. It suggests a cosmic balance, a kind of universal immune system that works to maintain harmony and prevent the spread of negativity.
It's reassuring to think that even in the face of these potentially destructive forces, there are beings out there working to protect and heal the universe. But let's shift gears for a moment and talk about McKenna's insights into time and consciousness.
Okay.
She mentions that inside the black hole, time seemed to cease to exist. What does that mean for our understanding of time as we experience it here on Earth?
Her experience aligns with some theoretical concepts in physics, particularly the idea that time might not be as linear and absolute as we perceive it to be. Inside a black hole, the immense gravity is thought to warp space-time to such an extent that our conventional notions of past, present, and future break down.
So are you saying that time is more fluid and subjective than we realize?
That's a possibility worth considering. McKenna's experience, while subjective, challenges us to rethink our assumptions about the nature of time and how it might be experienced differently in various parts of the universe.
It's mind-boggling to think that our perception of time might be just one small slice of a much larger and more complex reality.
It certainly opens up some fascinating possibilities. For example, if time is not absolute, could it be possible to travel through time?
Wow.
Or to experience multiple timelines simultaneously?
Now we're getting into some serious science fiction territory. But I have to admit, it's pretty exciting to think about.
Absolutely. And that's what makes McKenna's experience so compelling. It sparks our imagination and encourages us to explore ideas that might seem impossible at first glance.
Okay, one last thing before we wrap up.
All right.
McKenna mentioned encountering other dimensional beings during her experience. Can you tell us a bit more about that?
Unfortunately, the details about these encounters are limited. The connection was cut short before she could elaborate further, but she hinted at the possibility of interacting with beings who exist outside our normal perception of reality.
So she's suggesting that there might be a whole unseen world coexisting with our own, filled with beings we can't even imagine.
That's a possibility that many cultures and spiritual traditions have explored for centuries. And McKenna's experience, while unconventional, adds to the growing body of evidence that suggests there might be more to reality than meets the eye.
It's both humbling and exhilarating to think that we might be just one small part of a much grander and more mysterious universe than we ever imagined.
Exactly. And I think that's a perfect note to end on. McKenna's experience, while challenging and at times even unsettling, ultimately invites us to embrace the unknown, to question our assumptions, and to remain open to the possibility that the universe is far more wondrous and complex than we can currently comprehend.
It's been a wild ride exploring these concepts, and I'm sure our listeners are feeling equally mind-blown. So for all of you out there, keep exploring, keep questioning, and never stop seeking knowledge, even if it leads you down unconventional paths. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the mysteries of black holes and the nature of reality. We'll see you next time.